Indie wrestling fans, I hope you're excited because we got not one but two nights of Winnipeg Pro Wrestling to talk about here on the channel tonight. We're excited. Hope you're excited because boom, just like that, it's Thursday night and that means it's party time. Grab your drinks and party with us. We're the Video Bros. I'm Bobby Munson, the man sitting beside me. He's the man with the angelic voice. He's Papa Spokes. Papa Spokes, happy Thursday. How you doing, brother?
Ooh, that was quite the introduction, Munson, as usual. And as usual, I'm here on a Thursday night with you doing Ring Respect Radio, Munson. So I'm in a good mood. I'm feeling good. I'm looking good. We got everything going on for us tonight, Munson, including a bunch of matches to cover tonight. I'm excited to get into this.
Oh, me too, man. And yes, if you want to check out anything from Winnipeg Pro Wrestling, go check out the playlists over on YouTube to be able to know just what we're excited about talking about right here. We're also excited to see this man in the chat. Yeah. It's the Bass Man. I love that snow. Yeah, how about that snow? It's like we're in for our weekly Saskatchewan snowstorm. That seems to be happening every Thursday now, Pop Spokes. A little disappointing, but yeah, we'll get over it. We'll get over it by the weekend, I hear.
So. And you know, this happens every year in April. We forget every year because you just think all I got to do is get through January, February, March, and this winter will be over. But it's hanging in there, months. And almost all the snow had melted here, and now we're getting 6 inches. This is crazy.
You bet. And Zach Minger also in the house. Zach, how you doing, brother? Thanks for stopping in. And, you know, we got a lot to talk about with Winnipeg Pro, but I'd be amiss if I didn't mention it, Papa Spokes. We're only two sleeps away from the most monumental time in Prairie Pro Wrestling history. It's WrestleMania. This coming Saturday, April the 18th, live from the SaskTel Center. WrestleMania and Prairie Pro Wrestling as we partner with the Saskatchewan Rush on their last home game of the season. 3 matches from Prairie Pro Wrestling that you're not going to want to miss. So make sure you go to support the Saskatchewan Rush and Prairie Pro Wrestling this Saturday. You're not gonna regret it. And I'm telling you, you could sit at home. You could sit through 3 boring ass hours of no matches on a pre-show for a show that's maybe going to have 5 matches on it, most of which you don't really want to see. Or you could get your ass down to the SaskTel Center and check out 3 awesome matches from Prairie Pro Wrestling. How excited are you, Pop Spokes?
Extremely excited, and Munson, what an occasion for me. I don't have to do camera work or anything. Mm-hmm. I can sit in the crowd and watch this. I can have a beer. I'll be watching lacrosse and all that stuff too, but then PPW action. I wouldn't miss it, man. It's the best show in town.
You bet. And I'm sure the Mangler is going to be there as well, too. Also joining us on a Thursday night. Hello, gentlemen. Happy to be here on a Thursday night with the Video Bros, and love the shirt, Papa. You know, Papa Spokes always sporting the cool shirts over there. Looking very dapper over there, Papa Spokes, as per usual. I mean, it is a special occasion because we're talking about wrestling from, you know, where you're originally from, your neck of the woods, Winnipeg, Papa Spokes. And again, we love Winnipeg Pro Wrestling. And they just released, one, but 2 nights of the Voyager Cup, as well as Fight at the Museum came out. And we're going to get to that probably in a couple weeks here as well, too, so that we can keep on top of it immediately. But to get there, we had to learn who would win the Voyager Cup. And this year, very historic for them. Winnipeg Pro Wrestling, 2 nights of the Voyager Cup because they've got, for the first time ever, the Women's Voyager Cup. So the stakes are high. Whoever wins the Women's Voyager Cup guaranteed a match at Fight at the Museum to go up against Mercedes Moné for the WPW Women's Championship. So huge stakes there. And then on the men's side, as per usual, the winner of the Voyager Cup getting a match against whoever the champion might be come Battle at the Burt. Very exciting times, Papa Spokes. Hit us up with your immediate thoughts and where the event was held.
Oh, it was at the West End Cultural Center where they run most of their shows outside of the big ones. But I was very interested in this show and very taken by it because, for one thing, the first ever women's side of the Voyager Cup, and I would say that side, the women's division on this Voyager Cup, had the greater stakes to it and the greater excitement about it because not only did they have some really awesome guests come in, including Shayna Baszler, very famous women's wrestler, but the winner of this would, of course, as you mentioned, go on to face another very famous wrestler, Mercedes Moné, for the WPW women's title. at night at the museum. So I mean, stakes high, emotions high, and for me, this card was rooted in the women's side of the Voyager Cup.
Yeah, they actually got to headline both nights, and we'll talk about that very shortly. So here's how we're gonna do this, because again, we don't want to be here all night long. We got a lot of matches to talk about, so we're gonna kind of go through the results of night one, talk about a few of the standouts from it. We're not going to go into full details of it, and then we're going to give you a more of a bigger breakdown of night two, which was the semifinals and the finals. So I'm going to read this out first. We had in the first matchup, Jabari taking on Scott Ripley. A couple of notes I made was that this started out with the Y2J countdown on the screen, and then Bryce Bentley comes out along with Scott Ripley, and everybody is ticked off. Everybody's angry. We else in the result for that one, though, Jabari went on using a lion tamer in the end to get the victory via tap out, which I thought was fantastic. And look who's here just in time. It's our friend Blair, the voice of WPW, as well as the voice over the Graymaker Wrestling Podcast. It was a fantastic night, man. Like, again, yeah, Gigi and Danny, yeah, for sure. We'll be talking about how that's a standout, 100%. So if you didn't catch it, Blair, we're gonna run through the results here quickly from night one, so that we can move on to night two, do a bigger breakdown of night two, because there's a lot to unpack here for sure. So yeah, Jabari winning that first round matchup over Scott Ripley, and as Blair mentioned, Gigi and Dani Leo in the first match for the women's side. Fantastic in that one. Gigi picking up a great pinfall victory there. We next up had ATM and BRAX, real smash mouth type of venture we had there. BRAX, of course, picking up a pinfall victory, moving on. Then we got Jody Threat, the previous WPW Women's Champion, taking on Kingsley. Kingsley, talk about her in a second, too. Bit of a interesting gimmick she's got going on. Jody Threat ends up taking the pinfall victory, moving on to the next round. Next, we had Ronnie Attitude taking on Devon Monroe, and Monroe getting a pinfall victory there, moving on. Raj Singh took on Nick Nelson, and we had Raj Singh go on in that victory. Shayna Baszler took on the Sweetest Pea, Kristara, picking up a big pinfall victory there and moving on. And then, of course, in the main event of night one, it was Allie Katch taking on Ava Lawless, and what I thought was a bit of a surprise, and not in a bad way either. These women are fantastic, but Allie Katch getting the victory over former WPW Women's Champion Ava Lawless in the first round. So very interesting results we had there. I just wanted to mention again, the women had very standout performances throughout this tournament, both nights, especially on this night. I want to talk about Kingsley for a second there, who I thought was interesting, coming from Australia and doing, and we're going to lose Papa Smokes momentarily. So while Papa Smokes gets loaded back in here, we say hello to Mr. Bobby Stats, who is in the chat, who says Jabari is great. Yes, we will be talking about him more as Papa Smokes wakes his way back to the show. Welcome back, Papa Smokes. But yeah, going back to Kingsley for a second, she comes out and she's from Australia and has a gimmick very similar to what I would say we're used to seeing from Becca, where she's coming out, thinks that she's this amazing singer, gets on the microphone, sings away. And again, it works. It draws heat. It does very well. I thought it was funny that she gave the microphone to Jody Threat and was going to get Jody to start singing. Jody was about to get into it when Kingsley made the attack. So I thought that Kingsley was, especially for someone who didn't go on past that first round, definitely a standout. Awesome seeing Shayna Baszler here throughout this tournament, especially by night two. Shayna Baszler really owned it. And again, the guys, of course, we talked about BRAX heavily a lot here. Really like him. Devon Monroe does a fantastic job time in, time out. Raj Singh, also great. And as Bobby saying in the chat here that he really likes Jabari, that he's great. Yeah, and he went on as well too. Yep. And Kingsley could be the next Becca in wrestling. Very similar gimmick for sure. But your thoughts on these opening matchups, Papa Smokes, and who were your standouts and some of your thoughts?
Sure. Just a few random thoughts. We're not going to take too long on this, but I watched these matches out of order, so bear with me here. Devon Monroe comes out for his match with Dancing Girls.
Yes.
Yeah, what a cool idea, man. This looked good. This looked really cool. Like this a whole bunch. We got to get Dancing Girls in PPW. Like that a bunch.
Hey, we had the Rush dancers recently.
Yeah, for sure. And he's popular and over, so that went over good. Jody Threat and Ava Lawless are two of the big I'll say favorites amongst the WPW crowd. Lawless, of course, on the heel side of things, but Jody Threat, very, very, very popular in Winnipeg. You knew she was probably going to make some waves in this tournament. Love Kingsley, thought it was cool. We have seen a similar gimmick before, but she rocked it really, really well. Playing the chicken shit heel that comes out at first, singing a song that's very self-congratulatory about how she's hot and how she's awesome and everything else. Stalled and stalled and stalled and had the audience frustrated. You know, around PPW, we know something about frustrated audiences recently. But anyway, I
Yeah.
thought Kingsley was awesome. Would love to see her again. BRAX always impresses. Giant, strong, a bulldozer of a wrestler. One of my favorites, really two of my favorites, Dani Leo and then Gigi Rey. I like her a lot, man.
Yeah.
We've covered a couple of her matches in the past, some Alberta promotions that we covered long years ago. She was good then. She's even better now. I like her a whole bunch as a baby face. Her presentation is awesome. And she has a charisma that you really can't teach. She doesn't play it up huge, but she comes out, she looks good, and the crowd just connects with her. They just like her a whole bunch because she's cool. And then that's what you need to get over. Gigi Rey, very over. Always love to see her stuff. And Mo Jabari, one of our old, one of the guys we used to call matches for, even in the company that we worked for before the current one. Kid Chocolate, love to see him doing well in all of this. So, yeah, just a few notes on all that stuff. This was the first round of the tournament, so to speak. So, night one, kind of just setting all the blocks in order for what was to come for night two.
You bet. Yeah. So that was night one. And yeah, as Bobby's saying, the first time learning about Dani Leo. You know what? Check out more Dani Leo's work. Did great. And like we said, you know, Gigi Rey, we think very highly of, went on in this matchup. But there was a lot of people who didn't go on in this tournament that just as equally could have, or, you know, had caught my attention enough to want to watch more of their stuff. So this was awesome night one action. So definitely go check this out on YouTube. Now we're going to get into the meat of the matter, talk about this a little bit more in depth, because we're on to night two, semifinals and the finals, and a tag team title match that were on this particular card. We start off with the women's semifinal match. It is Allie Katch taking on Jody Threat. Did you watch this one in order, Papa Smokes, or how did you see this one?
I got all the notes. I'm just going to have to flip around a little bit here.
All right, just want to make sure. Look who's in the chat. It's Ed Fries. If you didn't catch it already, Ed just got done with Marvel Talk right before we went live himself. Andre C. and, of course, the host, Peggy, doing a great job over there. If you want to check out all the latest about the Daredevil Born Again show, you can catch that replay, of course, after you've watched Ring Respect Radio, of course, you know, later on in the evening. So going on here, semifinal match, it's Allie Katch taking on Jody Threat in this first matchup here. Papa Smokes, again, as we said, the ladies kind of stealing the show all over the place throughout this entire card. Allie Katch, Jody Threat, it was made apparent that they know each other very, very well. They have a bit of a history there together. They've even teamed together, so they know each other that well. So there's a little bit of that friendship, that sportsmanship, the types of things that you'd see from two people who know each other well. And at first, it was a lot of back and forth wrestling between these two ladies. But then what worked here, too, is as this unfolded, you could see the intensity picked up throughout the matchup, the sense of urgency to want to get into that next round, that urgency to not only get into the next round, but to go all the way, and realizing you don't have to wrestle just once here tonight. You got to wrestle twice. If you want to be victorious, get that cup and go on to fight at the museum to face Moné. And as that urgency kicked in, the pace of this matchup picked up very well between these two ladies. And it ended up being a great way to start off this night two. Allie Katch, Jody Threat, job well done. Jody Threat picking up the pinfall victory, but awesome work.
Yeah, I think so too. And for a first match of the card, and also a card that is set up as a tournament where some of the wrestlers are going to have to wrestle more than once, you're not going to want to have long matches with big, dangerous spots in them. This was a 9.5 minute match right here. Perfect to start off the show. And, 9 or 10 or 11 minutes is a good length. You can set up anything you want to in a match. That's plenty of time to go back and forth. They had a little time to do their sportsmanlike wrestling at the beginning and all that stuff, and then time for it to break down and turn into strikes and more intense moves. I like both these wrestlers a whole bunch. Now, Jody Threat is a big favorite around Winnipeg. She's done everything there is to do in WPW wrestling. The fans are familiar with her. The fans love her. And Allie Katch comes in. The fans are going to be familiar with her too because she's not in any of the major companies, but she is a big name on the indies. She's one of those wrestlers I respect because she works the indies hard. She's like until recently, Matt Cardona was the king of the indies. Now he's in a major company, but Richard Holiday, one of those kinds of wrestlers that is constantly traveling, is booked as much as they want to get booked, as many nights a week, and traveling all around North America and beyond. So Allie Katch probably makes a pretty darn good living doing this on the indies, and she's got respect, and she gets booked wherever she feels like it. So she comes out. She's awesome at what she does. She's a craftsman at wrestling. She comes out, her presentation is awesome. She's got that charisma with the fans. They know who she is. They're glad to have a visitor with a bit of a name. So you got yourself a hot match right here. And they made the most of it. Still doing what they could do with 10 minutes. That's plenty of time to have a good back and forth match with maybe a couple of false finishes, but then the finish. But Allie Katch ultimately doing the job here, and the wild child Jody Threat going over. So Threat advances, Allie Katch out. What are we going to have later on in this card?
Yeah, and of course, then we would find out who her opponent in the finals would be, because up next is the next match in the Women's Voyager Cup. We had Shayna Baszler taking on G-Money Gigi Rey. And man, just as the previous match to kick things off was awesome. Then we get full-on Shayna Baszler doing exactly what made Shayna Baszler awesome in the first place. Man, Shayna started just kicking some ass and taking names at this point on this night too. This was fantastic. And to me, the only thing better than this matchup is the finals of this tournament, because that is how good this was. Such a great, as Blair, they told a great story, as Blair has mentioned in there. Yes. And, kudos to you on commentary once again, Blair, because any bits of the story that we're not familiar with, or if somebody's watching for the first time, you do an awesome job of filling in. And you also were joined by multiple people throughout this thing. You weren't just sat there by yourself with the same commentary team the whole time. You had to work with multiple people, and it doesn't matter who they slot you in with there, man, you do a kick-ass job. So kudos to you, my friend. And hello, that's got to be Jamie over at Pario Magazine joining us. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. And yes, you're welcome, Blair. Hey, thanks for the great entertainment as always, brother. Really appreciate you. So yeah, talking about this match though, man, Papa Smokes, like Shayna Baszler and Gigi Rey, this matchup could have been booked on just about any company's card. It would have been a standout match on any company's card by any sense of the word. This is a top women's wrestling matchup, possibly one of the ones I'm gonna be thinking about by the end of this year as one of the best matches of the year. It's definitely up there for me. Back and forth with the holds and the breakouts and the great professional wrestling, the story being told, the desire to want to get to that next level and stuff like that. And, in the urgency to try to beat someone the status of a Shayna Baszler, you could also see that in the eyes of Gigi Rey throughout this thing. It made me believe there was a chance Gigi Rey could get past Shayna Baszler and be the one to fight Jody Threat. And it would be very incredibly logical in this one. But in the end, Shayna Baszler did get the tap out victory, but awesome work by these two women. Great matchup.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And impressed right off the bat by Shayna Baszler. She's always wrestled the way she does. She reminds me of an old school Lou Thez or somebody like that, where she just gets in, she punches her card in, puts her hard hat on, and gets to work. Just starts on those limbs, starts on those fingers, the wrists, in every hold. is like some kind of an arm twister, an arm bar, but then she's got the wrist bent back and the fingers bent in all these directions. And it's all about limb manipulation with Baszler all the time because, of course, we know that she has that MMA shoot fighting background and she lets it go on Gigi Rey. And Rey, to her credit, just sells like $1,000,000, like really looking good in that. Knew exactly how to play it, knew exactly what to do. Baszler, was uncomfortable at moments, right? A good match will make you feel uncomfortable like that because it just, even if she wasn't giving it 100% all the way, those moves look like those holds look like they really, really hurt. And Rey just selling that all the way. Now, Rey, when she made some of her comebacks, she was trying to use some of the same MMA inspired stuff as Baszler, and it pops with the crowd a little bit. She came off the ropes, and I think this is what this hold is called. They sometimes call it an octopus hold, but I know it as a spinning satellite hold where Baszler was standing up and Rey kind of spins around her and has got the one arm and the one leg kind of and is stretching. Very, very cool hold. She also tried to hit a couple of armbar submissions on Baszler that you could see was kind of disorienting Baszler a little bit, like, hey, she's using my style against me. That was very cool. There was another moment I liked in this where the action kind of spilled to the arena floor for a little bit there. Gigi Rey just came running, made a suicida dive out through the ropes, knocked Baszler over. Gigi Rey basically landed in the front row and just a primal scream, and then you just see all the crowd, all the fans around her screaming along with her. One of those moments, got to tip my hat to the cameraman for getting a good shot of that, and more so even to Gigi Rey for just making a very, very cool and memorable moment in this match, among many cool moments. But again, this was a 10-minute match. They did a lot with 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a testament to very clever match setup. Like this they must have discussed the flow and ebbs of this match, and the way it was laid out was just absolutely beautiful. And no huge surprise with the result. They made it. It seemed like Gigi Rey could get over in this match, but ultimately Baszler just built the wall brick by brick, just weakened various limbs on Gigi Rey, including her neck as well, and just she couldn't overcome all that base work that had been done on her on the mat by Shayna Baszler. So Baszler advances, and now all the viewers and all the fans, we got to be thinking in our minds like, is Baszler the experienced veteran? Is she going to win this whole thing? I know I had it in my mind that that might be the way it goes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, I did have a preconceived insight into who the winner actually was, having seen who ended up taking on Moné through the socials and stuff like that. So
all cheating aside, Munson, come on.
you know what I mean.
You're peeking at the last page of the exam here. Come on.
Yeah, I mean that's just how it is sometimes. But I knew that already, but it didn't take away from the excitement of any of this at the same time too. I was like, this was going to be fun, and we'll talk about that final matchup between these two ladies here in a little bit. We got to go over to the men's side though for the semifinals, and our first match on the men's side, Raj Singh taking on BRAX, and again, BRAX such a dominant force, but Raj Singh is such a seasoned professional at the same time. And I know that Blair mentioned it on commentary that BRAX last year, I believe in this tournament, was doing quite well as well too, but it was a little bit of his arrogance in the tournament and taking his eye off the prize, those kind of things, that lack of focus that cost BRAX last year. And it sold the story that, is BRAX that much better now? Is he that much more confident, that much more dangerous since last time, that he is going to be an unstoppable force in this? Or will he take his eye off the prize and end up being beat? And against somebody like Raj Singh, you start to believe that is very possible. Raj is a very credible opponent for anybody in that ring. So back and forth, these two went with each other. Very good fight back and forth. Definitely one of the best BRAX matches that we've had the chance to review as well too, in terms of the overall quality of the whole matchup. A great way to start things off in the semifinal, but yes, BRAX ended up still being a little too much for Raj Singh and ended up getting the victory. We'll move on to the finals of this tournament. And once he got that victory, I'm like, I have a feeling, man. I have a feeling BRAX is taking this at this point. So stay tuned. We'll let you know if that's true. But your thoughts on this match, Papa Smokes?
No, also a pretty good one. They also got 10 minutes or so just pending, the winner would have another match yet that night. And Raj Singh is going to be a good test for BRAX. Everybody kind of suspected that BRAX would probably get through this round, and yet Raj put on a great show. And for as huge as BRAX is, Raj Singh isn't a small man either. He's got to be 6'2", 6'3", and a good chunk over 200 pounds. So not a pushover for BRAX whatsoever. You talked about BRAX's arrogance and such, and this got brought up on commentary during this match. I don't know if that's a planned thing or not, but he was being distracted by the crowd throughout this. The crowd were heckling him, and he was stopping his offense and turning to address the crowd and to pose to the crowd and such. It was just only giving Raj more time to get his bearings and get his strategy in order to continue this match. Now, one of the highlights of this match for me, I never like to bring up a botch that happens in any match, but this one turned out so terribly well. Raj fell off the apron. Did you remember that? Do you remember this part, Munson?
Yep.
He fell off the apron, fell backwards, fell upside down, and his feet got hooked under the bottom rope. So he just pulled himself right up, got right back up in a quick as a hiccup. He was up. The crowd all cheered. He gave a little bow to the crowd and just continued on.
Love that.
It's better than a spot, really, when something unexpected like that happens. And yeah, I mean, thankfully nothing bad happened from it. But such an awesome recovery. A little bit of comedy. I was impressed by how he dealt with this with a tough spot or a tough moment in this match. But Raj, a veteran, he's been there before. He knows what to do, and this was just gave me a little giggle and really made for a bright and unexpected spot in this match.
That's right. Give the people a little show in the process. Have laugh it off, move on from it.
Yeah.
It was an awesome moment. Speaking of awesome moments happen when Astrid Bizarro's in the chat. Astrid, thank you for joining us here on Ring Respect Radio. It was great to see, and I like we've talked very highly about Raj. We know he's a top guy over at Winnipeg Pro. He's a top guy any place he's going to go. The guy is fantastic. But yeah, of course, we know that there's this push of BRAX happening right now too. They're making him into this unstoppable force, this unstoppable monster. So he does manage to make it through to the final round in what was a very solid semifinal match. But who would his opponent be? Who would it be? We got Devon Monroe taking on Mo Jabari, and this was the match that fans didn't necessarily know who to cheer for. They like Mo, they like Devon a whole lot. These are two styles that are going to be a little more quicker paced, even though Mo can bring himself to work that pace of a more technical wrestler and stuff like that. We know that he comes from a fast-paced type move set that he's been known for in the past as well, too. So we know that he can keep the pace with Devon throughout this thing, although Devon is very unique in the style that he does for, how quick they are and everything like that. This was, this is the type of match that I could see a lot of people would have absolutely adored in terms of what was on this card. It was solid. I liked it a whole hell of a lot too. This was a solid matchup between these two gentlemen. I could see this one being one if you were to recommend matches from this card to tell people, hey, go watch this one, go watch the ladies matches. These are your standout matchups throughout the card. So great job between these two gentlemen back and forth in this matchup. I thought to myself, this really feels like Mo's going up against BRAX, and BRAX is taking this tournament at this point. And then lo and behold, Papa Smokes, they pulled one over on me, and Devon Monroe picking up a big victory over Mo Jabari to make it to the final. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, that I did not see coming. Well done, Winnipeg Pro, and no harm on that at all. I am 100% behind that surprise. I thought it was great. But Devon now, after a tough battle with Mo Jabari, facing up against BRAX in the final, giving up a lot of weight, size, everything like that. I was very curious where this was going to go. And I still, in the back of my mind, I'm like, 100% BRAX is taking this thing. There's no way, is there? Like, but then again, I thought that here. I thought Mo was definitely going on, and they pulled the surprise. So we'll see. We'll talk about it in a moment. But Pop Smokes, your thoughts on these two gentlemen?
Oh, pretty cool match. It not completely my favorite style, but the fans absolutely love this. They went for 6 minutes, so this was at a pretty breakneck pace. They fit a lot of moves and a lot of stuff into this 6 minutes. Both as baby faces, they wrestled, they did acrobatics, they did all kinds of spots in the middle of this, a lot of clean wrestling. Uh, Kid Chocolate or Jabari was the guy who started to kind of dirty it up a little bit, starting to get nasty and showing the desire to win. He had a couple of nice Ric Flair style knee drops. The crowd was divided throughout this. They like both guys, but you can see that Devon Monroe has momentum behind him. He's getting a little push. He's kind of usually in the middle of the card, but here he has the chance to get up towards the top of the card here, and the crowd was clearly behind that. They like his presentation, they like his charisma. So there you go. Uh, uh, quick series of moves, quick sequence, nice roll up pinfall, and Jabari not happy about the result at all, but accepting it as the sportsman that he is. And bang, you've got yourself a final there. Devon Monroe is going to go up against Big BRAX, and we're going to see a real clash of styles in this final match.
We sure would. Kind of interesting to see how it goes down, but we have our final matches set. Of course, you can't just immediately get into the finals, though. You got to have something to break it up, and we're going to go to the tag match in just a moment, but just prior to that, we know Tyler Colton came out mentioning that he's still lined up for that title shot. He's still ready to take on Chiseled Chad Daniels and take back the Winnipeg Pro Heavyweight Championship, and he's tired of the shenanigans that are going on here with Daniels and his group and everything like that. So he's putting himself on commentary. He's joining our man Blair there over on the commentary side for the rest of the evening. And this is being mentioned because it's going to come into play and starting with up next, the tag team titles on the line, champions New Money taking on the Rogues here. And man, this match, Papa Smokes, this was a shocker for me as well too. I like New Money. I mean, I love to hate New Money is what I should say.
Yeah.
I mean, again, like in terms of like these guys playing it up as those slimy jackass baby faces, they are phenomenal at it. They are really good at it, and they work well in the ring together. They're a very good tag team. And I didn't know much about their opponents, to be honest, going into this thing, the Rogues. And man, this ended up being, these were two good tag teams putting on a great tag team matchup. This broke up the monotony of having singles matches, tournament style throughout the entire night, which was kind of nice as well too. But something a little different on throughout the card to break it up before we got to the final matchups. This was fantastic. This was a solid tag team match and one of the best. New Money usually generally has great matchups on these cards, but this was right up there, especially for one, where I didn't know their opponents at all. And as Blair saying, yeah, it was a shocking banger because I didn't know the opponents. I knew what I was getting with New Money. I didn't know the Rogues, but I would watch more matches from the Rogues after seeing what I saw throughout this match.
Yeah, same. And I was unfamiliar completely with them. Am I correct in this, Munson? I don't think we've reviewed anything with either of these guys.
Not to my knowledge, no.
Before, and I don't think I'd seen them before. So when this match started, I thought, oh, okay, is this kind of going to be not exactly a squash match, but just like a job match for New Money to go over? I understand why they put this here on the card. It's kind of like a bit of a palate cleanser. It's something a little bit different than the Voyager Cup tournament, but we still a tag team title match, so still exciting for the fans. But no, this was a very competitive match, and the Rogues came out like looking like an underneath babyface team. They on first appearance and on presentation didn't really look like they were going to have much of a chance. Like they look okay and all that, but I just thought this will be a, a kind of almost a training match for new money. This will be no problem for them. But no, they got 12 minutes in this, so a very competitive match. New money continue to show excruciating levels of douchebaggery. I'm in the same boat as you, Munson. I want to like them, but they annoy me so much by what complete douchebags they are. It's just almost staggering, and they do their part very well. Again, this match was kind of like a traditional tag team match. Nothing fancy in the layout of this or anything. The heels isolated one of the rogues, cut the ring off, distracted the ref, did double teaming, did heel shit at various points throughout this match, and then a hot tag to Ferrara, who looked awesome in this comeback off of the hot tag, by the way. Completely got the crowd on their feet. Man, he shows a lot of potential. Looks like a pretty young guy as well, so I'm going to keep an eye on Ferrara. He looked awesome. And then the heels took over for a bit. The baby pieces came back for a bit, but ultimately New Money get the double team finisher and the pinfall for this. So 12 minutes, successful tag team title defense for New Money. They stay on top for now and stay with leaving the fans with a bad taste in their mouth. The fans can't wait to see these guys get theirs, to get their comeuppance, and we'll see. WPW has a pretty vibrant tag team scene with a few tag teams that look like they might be able to get in there. So New Money sitting on the throne for now, but we're gonna see, are they sitting on a shaky or a crumbling throne right now? We're gonna see.
Well, exactly, yeah. And before we talk about the Voyager Cup finals for both sides, which is what we're going to do next year, Bob Spokes, I want to say that throughout this entire card in the Voyager Cup tournaments, and this is a big shout out to Winnipeg Pro for doing this, they had a different ring announcer for the men's side and for the ladies side, both times.
Yeah.
And the reason I wanted to bring that up now is because as we're getting to the finals, that was the nice thing, is that those ring announcers got to come out and say that they had the honor of introducing the Voyager Cup as it was brought down to the ring. And beautiful looking cup, by the way. And so we go first. Again, the ladies going to headline the card again for night 2 as well for this historic weekend. So first up, we got the men's. Yeah, the men's Voyager Cup's going to start us off. Devon Monroe taking on BRAX. The winner going to get a shot at Battle of the Burt for the WPW Heavyweight Championship. I'm thinking, okay, BRAX wins this. I'm thinking in my mind, Tyler Colton's going to beat Chisel Chan Daniels to take the belt. Inevitably, we're going to have Colton versus BRAX for the belt at that big show. That's where my mind was going. This is what was very clever about WPW, because they're like, you know what? That is where most people's minds are going with this one. So we're going to play it up. BRAX comes out like a ball of thunder, beating the living piss out of Devon Monroe, like just hurting Devon Monroe, and every move looked like it hurt a lot. And Monroe does a phenomenal job at selling this and looking like trying to come back time and time again, but just everything that BRAX does, just more physical pain, making it more difficult bit by bit by bit. But this then plays into what Blair was saying on commentary earlier in the night, and BRAX's inability to get past what the crowd has got going on and doing. First of all, he has New Money come running out to aid him, to try to help him out in this matchup. But no, sir. Tyler Colton over on commentary was at the right place, right time to make sure that shit wasn't going to go down, making sure he took out New Money, making sure we had a legit one-on-one matchup. And in the end, despite the odds, they pulled another fast one on us, Papa Spokes, Jesus. And the winner and new Voyager Cup champion, Devon Monroe, the Twin City Twister. Holy shit, this one shocked me, but I'm not disappointed in being shocked, because in some ways I think we knew where the other tournament was going, but it had a very historic weekend upon it. This tournament, it was more of they could take a wild shot with this one. in so many ways. And that's what they chose to do. Nobody in that room was disappointed. Every fan was on their feet. They loved every second of it. I thought this was good storytelling. This was a good way to end this thing. BRAX is not going to be hurt by this by any sense of the word because he's a big guy, easy to push into the main event scene. He doesn't really particularly need the cup in order to even be in the title picture to begin with, and he'll be there, before too long anyway. But now they've done this. Now Devon Monroe's been created into this babyface that does so well with so much heart and determination to fight from underneath and is really connected with the fans. And so you've now pushed someone to a status where even if he doesn't win the title, at least he's in question for being somebody that can contend in that title picture moving on now. So they've done a good job at creating a star within their company.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head right there, Munson. And it's like you watch this match start and the two wrestlers couldn't look more different. I mean, their presentation is vastly different and their styles are vastly different. You've got BRAX, giant, all power and everything. You've got Devon Monroe, slim, athletic, fast, all technique, and all aerial stuff. And BRAX, slow, pounding, grinding, it's difficult to predict who's going to win a match like that. But from some of the stuff you said as well, BRAX already kind of hanging around the top of the card, the main event area. Devon Monroe, more kind of the lower or middle area of the card. So whereas in the women's side, they use the veterans and the favorites and the ladies that are at the top of the card. But in this men's final, they wanted to push somebody. They wanted to advance a wrestler in their card towards the top of the crowd. The top of the card. So they're going to give them a little push. So Devon Monroe comes out there, gets pounded, gets beaten, gets the crowd sympathetic behind him. But through his skill and through his desire to win, he comes up big in this, gets a surprise roll-up pin on BRAX, and it surprised a whole lot of people in the crowd, including myself. So what they've done there is they've just advanced one of their mid-card wrestlers, putting him up, moving him up the card a little bit. That's got to be a huge thing for Devon Monroe. He's got to be loving this. It's obvious that the crowd is loving it too. And what an awesome moment that I like these promotions that have belts, but then have little tournaments like that. You and I have covered Major League Wrestling, MLW, quite a lot in the past, and they have the Opera Cup every year.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an official belt. It's not anything like that, but it's a feather in the cap of the wrestler that wins it. It's a little honor, and it's a way to push someone up the card a little bit. So this is exactly what they did. And congratulations to the winner, Devon Monroe. He's just got his biggest win in WPW, and he's moving up the stairs in this company. It's nice to see it. It's good to see it. And it's nice to see that the crowd have one of their big favorites also moving up in the company.
100%. Yeah. So this was great work by Winnipeg Pro. And you want to talk about great work? Let's talk about the main event of the evening. This match scheduled for one fall. And it is the finals of the Women's Voyager Cup, the very first ever historic Voyager Cup for the ladies of Winnipeg Pro. The winner going to go to the next show, Fight at the Museum, to take on Mercedes Moné for the Winnipeg Pro Wrestling Women's title. And let me tell you, we talked about how good the semifinal matchups were. And I talked about how that previous Shayna Baszler matchup was one of the best matches of the night. It was topped by this matchup here on this one. Battery's about to die on my laptop. Hey, Blair, thank you for tuning in, man, and all the love and support you give us here on the show. Blair. Really appreciate you. Everybody, check out the Gray Maker Wrestling Podcast and check out our buddy Blair here on the commentary team for Winnipeg Pro Wrestling, always kicking ass and taking names. We will see you soon again, Blair. We got to get you on here on Ring Respect Radio with us one of these nights here, too. I'll reach out. But yes, we've got this matchup here, Pop Smokes, and this was over both nights. This was hands down my favorite matchup of all. And I'm talking this match will be a contender for one of the better matches of the entire year for me. Shayna Baszler against the Wild Child Jody Threat was fantastic between two very accomplished women's wrestlers, two that I enjoy the matches of each and every time. Great work back and forth. Shayna multiple times trying to take cheap count out wins, which drew so much heat throughout this thing. I thought that was an excellent touch throughout this whole one. She really knew how to get that crowd wound up, but never to the point where she felt like she was distracted in the sense that like BRAX was in the tournament. She was always in control of things just enough throughout this one. But again, Jody Threat never going to give up. And I love how she interacts with the crowd. Well, she'll grab a beer. She chugs a beer from the audience. And she gets fired right back up into these things. Damn it, man. This was an awesome matchup. It doesn't matter what company you go to, who you've got booked in it. This is what a main event is all about. Historic, and Jody Threat beating Shayna Baszler, getting the big victory, going to get that second match with Mercedes Moné, that opportunity to redeem herself after losing last time and hoping to take back the women's championship. Awesome. This topped off a great card, in my opinion. I thought the Voyager Cup was fantastic. I can't wait to watch next year's already. And man, great job by these two women to top this all off.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And what a huge match this was for indie wrestling and for ladies indie wrestling especially, and for just again the tip of the cap to WPW for opening up the purse strings and bringing in some guests that cost money for sure. And Shayna Baszler, I mean, we all know that she's risen to the top of her game and been in the big companies and all that, but she's really, really good. I mean, I love her as a heel.
Yep.
She's not only so good at ring work, but she's a good worker in the ring as well. And she's works with the crowd, works with the referee, works with her opponent. Everything's good. And when you look at this match on paper, you see Shayna Baszler and Jody Threat. Now, this isn't very much of a styles clash. This is two wrestlers that have similar styles. Again, commentary very helpful in telling us about Jody Threat, who has been doing a bunch of powerlifting lately and has been working on MMA style grappling. So she's going to be in a position to be able to compete with Shayna Baszler in that same style. However, Shayna Baszler started this match off as she did on night one in her previous matches by doing her style. She's going to manipulate those joints. She's going to bend those fingers. She's going to have those wrists bent back. And you could see very realistically that Jody Threat thought, damn it, I can't hang with Shayna Baszler in this type of match, so I'm not going to. So instead of having, just like the other matches previously in this tournament, Threat said, no, I'm not going to do these wrestling spots with Baszler right off the bat. I'm going to try and make this match my style. So rather than wrestling the entire time, she started getting into strikes, high impact moves, running the ropes and such. And you could see that threw Baszler off just a little bit. Will it be enough to win this match? Yes, we know it will eventually. But this one, 13 minutes now, just a little bit of a longer match. And the intensity just ramped up all the way throughout this. There was a nice big superplex with high impact in the middle of that. They fought outside the ring. Baszler putting the chokehold on in the middle of the ramp. That was kind of wild because you could feel the tension amongst the crowd. Like, we can't have a double count out in this match. Like, you ladies got to get back in the ring to get a winner. But Baszler's the seasoned veteran. She doesn't care. She's going to work her opponent down in any way she can. She's, just like I said, punching the clock and putting the hard hat on. She just goes to work. She knows she's not going to win against an accomplished foe like Jody Threat in 3, 4, 5 minutes. She knows she's going to have to put the work in and beat her down and work her down and hurt her throughout this match, like Baszler did with Gigi Rey in the previous match. and but Jody Threat just she's all about the heart, you know. She's got the lion's heart of the fighter, and she just would not go down. And wow, what an awesome match! Just like you said, it had high stakes in this tournament, but as a indie wrestling ladies match, this is really top notch. Like I can't see that many matches anywhere would have been better than this. And my 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 hat is off to the wrestlers involved in this match and to WPW for putting this whole thing together. You just put on one banger of a match and one that will be remembered by the Winnipeg crowd for probably years to come. It was really, really good. Enjoyed this thoroughly.
Yeah, and and it topped off what was a banger card overall for 2 nights. Like you said, many great names throughout the entire 2 nights, and just topped off by this phenomenal main event that made sense. It had great storytelling, and like you said, and I love that spot of Shayna doing the chokehold out in the ramp, knowing you couldn't get a double count out, and going back in the ring and just soaking up the boos of the fans while Jody laid there unresponsive and just getting back in the nick of time, kind of thing. I mean, I know that jumping back into the nick of time has been done many times in wrestling, but I liked it here more because it made sense why Shayna did the whole thing to begin with and why she was willing to take that count out victory, looking down the opportunity to fight Monet, and still not enough to keep Jody Threat down. Jody Threat was determined and got it. And this was great. This is fantastic. I love watching WPW. So glad we could review them, and I can't wait to watch Fight at the Museum now, Papa Smokes, because we've got that matchup, Monet and Jody Threat, but there's going to be so much more to unpack from that card as well too.
And just one more note about that match, about just to praise Shayna Baszler a little bit too, is she wrestles that cocky heel style of, I don't have to beat you, you have to beat me. So she wrestles defensively the whole time too. It not like she's doing offensive moves, but she's always just kind of taking the confident position that I won't lose this. Like as long as it takes me to beat this girl, she's not gonna beat me in the meantime. And it can make that tension and that frustration amongst the crowd too. And her confidence looked like she was just gonna have no problem winning this. That's such good ring psychology and such good ring working by the veteran Baszler. But yes, WPW overall, great card, great concept and tournament. Love having the 2 night tournament. They can fit lots of matches in. They can advance lots of wrestlers as they did with Devon Monroe, is just pushing them up the card a little bit with some victories in this tournament. And the other thing I like is that WPW just always puts on a good show. They they set up their cards very strategically. They get good guests. They make good matchups. They time it all out very well. And you know this as well as I do, Munson, from the various indie companies that we cover. They're all pretty good, the ones that we cover, but WPW is one of those ones that always leaves me thinking, I can't wait till the next card comes out because I want to see what happens. So a couple of the New Zealand and Australian companies we cover have that as well. And it gets the fan invested. You're waiting for the next card. You can't wait to see it. If you lived in that city, you would be buying your tickets immediately to come and see what happens again. Very smart, very good business, and very entertaining wrestling that they put on. So once again, the hat is tipped to WPW. Can't wait to watch and review Night at the Museum. And Munson, maybe we'll even get the chance to go out to Winnipeg for one of those nice outdoor summertime shows behind the Blue Note there. It's been a concept. It's a little pipe dream of ours. Munson, wrestling road trip. I think we should think about it seriously.
I have definitely been thinking about it seriously, Pop Smokes. I definitely want to make it happen, and planning to, very much planning to. It's definitely on the cards. And I think it would be great to be down there at one of those tables, drinking some brewskis, yelling in the faces of some of the wrestlers, cheering on the other ones. It'd be a good old time. I think it'd be fantastic. We'll have to vlog the entire thing. We'll video ourselves down at Winnipeg Pro and present it here on a show coming up following our time there anyway. But yeah, it's going to be an exciting time, and we got lots to cover. Of course, Fight at the Museum has been released on YouTube, so we got to get around to covering that very soon. I know we got to get back to some more probably IPW New Zealand stuff here too, more to catch up on from our friends over there. And you mentioned Australia. We've kind of got away from Australia, but I also found a new company. I keep forgetting to send over to you their Papa Spokes out of New Brunswick here in Canada. So curious to see what you thought of that one. So I'll send you that link after the show here tonight so we can cover some more wrestling here on Ring Respect Radio. And of course, we're going to have to get around to a trip through the territories very soon. Let's taking a quick peek at the calendar. I'm thinking obviously not next Thursday, but maybe the 30th we could do the trip, or else the 7th of May. One of the two. We'll figure it out. And we'll bring you guys another trip through the territories. But hey, say if you don't get through all of trip through the territories, because sometimes the stream runs a little long, we're gonna have something new coming out for you real soon. Is recaptured pieces from those streams, just focusing on the main details of the territory themselves. It is wrestling history in X amount of minutes. You're gonna want to be able to check those out. First one's gonna be coming out very soon, and we're going back to the World Class Championship Wrestling, so you can learn World Class Championship Wrestling in 47 minutes or less with that video release coming very soon here on the channel. But let me stop talking about that and bump on over to the most expensive ticker in the world, Pop Smokes sticker, so he can let you know where you can reach out to him and what he's got going on.
All right, everybody, as you're watching this podcast right now, this is where I appear every Thursday evening for Ring Respect Radio on OLE Podcast and the Video Bros Network. I can also be found on Elon Musk's free speech wonderland known as X. I am at smokes_papa. Also allegedly on Twitch at papa_smokes_.
All right, that's where you find Bob Smokes. Of course, down at the bottom, you see my ticker. That's where you can find myself, Bob Munson. Feel free to reach out to me. Where can you find me? You can find me here on the channel. Of course, this Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time with Point of View. Myself and Andre giving you the week in sports. Thank you for being here, Mangler. Always appreciate having you here on the show. Hope to see you on Saturday at WrestleMania. Of course, you can also catch me along with Pop Smokes at Prairie Pro Wrestling's YouTube channel this every Saturday with a new matchup coming at you. And this Saturday, it is a championship matchup. It is Riley Cruz taking on Michael Allen, Richard Clark for the belt coming out on our YouTube channel. Stay tuned for that big matchup. Make sure you're over at WrestleMania with us that day as well, too. But what else do I got going on? Well, Monday night, I've got a very special stream going on here on the channel. It's going to be broadcast here. It's going to be broadcast on Chainfire's YouTube channel as well, too. I'm going to be joined by Melball Collins and the guys from Chainfire here in the studio for the album release party of Trauma Bonding. We're going to talk about the recording, the writing sessions. We're going to talk about my time in the studio. We're going to talk about Melball's appearance on the album. You're going to be able to get free giveaways throughout the night as well, too. And you could also pre-record either the vinyl record or CD copy of Trauma Bonding, which comes with 2 additional songs that are not available in the digital release of the album as well, too. So we're going to talk all about that on Monday night. Stay tuned to right here at OLE Podcast across all social media as well as YouTube and Twitch to find out more details. And of course, we are partnered here on YouTube. So go ahead, give us super chats, super stickers, all those wonderful things. But hey, if you can't throw those our way, the least you can do is go ahead and click the subscribe button down below. Give us a thumbs up. Click the notification bell. If you're watching on replay, leave a comment. And if you're watching on replay, hey, guess what you can also do? If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have an opportunity to 3 hype points per week. You want to give those hype points to us here at OLE Podcast, maybe in particular, your friends, the Video Bros. Bob Smokes and I have broke the top 100 here in Canada twice now, and we want to keep that momentum going, and we can do that with your help. So keep that love coming our way. We appreciate every single one of you, and we will see you next Thursday night. Take care, everybody.